Hello and welcome to Senior Speak New Hampshire on your Concord TV, sponsored by AARP. I am a volunteer for AARP, and as you know, Senior Speak New Hampshire's purpose is to inform and to educate viewers about available services that can enable them to choose how they live as they age. This is also the mission of AARP. This that sponsors this program, and it's also the vision of AARP. And as the producer and host of this program, it's also my mission and my vision. And it is always with that mission and that purpose, that vision in mind, that I, as producer and host, look for guests whose professions complement this vision and also this purpose. And they are people who offer free of charge, often, services that will help our 50-plus generation, many who are on a fixed income, live comfortably and happily as they age. My guests give freely of their time to help AARP inform and educate viewers by appearing on Senior Speak. And today I'm happy to introduce viewers to a fairly new service that I learned about by attending UNH's Age of Champions recently. Hometown Senior Solutions is located in Berlin, New Hampshire, and it provides local experts who can help New Hampshire residents with navigating aging, and in a multitude of ways. I believe it is the only organization of its kind in New Hampshire. I could be wrong, but they will help me if I'm not. Thus, I invited Brad Dreyer and Maria, his daughter-in-law?
And partner, yeah.
And partner, to tell you about Hometown Senior Solutions. Brad, thank you sincerely for traveling here from Berlin, which is quite a trip, and to be with us today. And to tell the viewers a little bit about your background and why you founded Hometown Senior Solutions. And then what its services provide that is apart from organizations like yours.
Sure. There's a lot to unpack there. I have to say first, you talk about 50 plus. I turn 48 next month.
Ooh.
And I never really put myself in the senior population, but apparently I fit. I found out I can actually do we're from Maine. We live over in Maine, and we travel to Berlin, but I could do the Maine Senior Games now at 45 years old. So it's interesting that we've been working with seniors for a long time. I'm going to be a senior soon, but I'm not rushing.
No.
So anyway, Hometown Senior Solutions, how did we get founded? I've been in the business of helping seniors with Medicare and more for about 14 years, and helped found an agency over in the state of Maine.
And is that the agency that existed at the time? There wasn't any other?
No, actually, the primary founder of that agency had a vision. At the time, I think he was 68 years old. The primary founder's thought process was, you know what we're going to do? I want to start an organization that helps seniors. He was already doing Medicare. I got into the business of selling Medicare health plans. And ultimately, he says he'd been in a Lions Club forever. He's past district governor, and he wanted to have an agency that kind of worked like the Lions did. You know, we're going to help people. But we know in the Lions is a nonprofit, but as a for-profit agency, we're going to help people and the money will come. And I spent a lot of time in the state of Maine building that organization to more than 30,000 clients.
Wow.
Substantial
Yes.
client list, right? Ultimately, the agency got sold, so we all went our own separate ways. And I decided I want to stay in the business. I'm not ready to retire. My primary partner was 80. My other partner was close to 60, I think it was. And so we all went our separate ways, and I started an agency in New Hampshire. And Maria, my daughter-in-law, she had worked for me there and followed, and a couple other folks, Caitlin Bierstow and Michaela Gammon. And we were like, well, where are we going to go? Well, Berlin is a bit of a distance. We live on the other side of Rumford, Maine.
Oh, wow.
But I'd always wanted to be in Berlin. Gorham, technically, but Berlin seemed to be the best fit. So we opened up an office in Berlin, and we said, well, we'll sell our Medicare health plans here. There's a need. The way we choose to do business is a little different, though. So what we do is not only are we going to help seniors with their Medicare health plan, and often it's not actually why they walk through the door. You know, they see seniors on the sign. It's an agency that helps seniors. The question usually is, what exactly do you do here?
Yeah.
It says it on the window, but that's okay. So when they come in, so we help folks navigate Medicare and Medicare health plans, but we also help them with Social Security. We also help them. We've had people walk in and say, I can't pay my heating bill. How do I address that? So we have connections with HEAP, LIHEAP, and we help them fill applications. We're not affiliated with that organization, but we don't just say to a client, well, go here. If there's an application, if there's a process, we work to do that. And the girls are real champs at that. They're phenomenal. So we connect our for-profit insurance agency with as many connections as we can within the community so that we have an answer. We don't like to say no. Now, it might be, we don't do that, but let me connect you with an organization or a person, volunteer organization, another for-profit, or someone that's going to give them an answer. We don't like them walking out the door still confused and lost.
Right.
And quite often when people come in, they're wringing their hands. They don't know what to do. Maybe they're crying. We get that a lot. And by the time we're done, we've been able to bring light into their life where they didn't expect it.
Right.
You don't walk into an insurance agency and typically feel like all the difference in the world was made in that visit.
Right.
But what Maria does and what Michaela and Caitlin do, they sit and they know the resources. And of course, we had to learn New Hampshire resources. It's a little different than Maine. And what they do is they have a conversation, try to ease their mind, and then very systematically direct them to resources or solutions that will answer their needs. That's why we call it Hometown Senior Solutions.
Okay, so viewers, you have to know that I know very little about insurance because mine is taken care of by the state of New Hampshire. So I don't know anything about Medicare or any of that. So Brad is educating me a lot about this. And I don't know a lot about his company, but I was fascinated that they do this free of charge to the seniors.
Sure.
Correct?
Yeah, and so one of the questions, because seniors, they've been around a while, they're very intuitive. They want to write you a check. In fact, I've had offices where seniors will hide money in the bathroom because we refuse to take money. And it could be a $5 bill or a $10 bill. It's happened in northern Maine a lot. I found that to be the French folks up there were very particular about that. They didn't want to feel like they were getting something for nothing. So they ask us, well, how do you do this for free? Well, let's be clear. We don't work for nothing.
Right.
We've started this agency. It takes time to get revenue coming in to grow the business. But where do we get the money? Well, the insurance carriers, we represent all the health plans available to seniors in our area. So when they come in and it doesn't matter what problem we're solving, probably at some point we're going to talk about insurance. It's partly because it's what we do.
Right.
But a lot of times people are trying to save money. And one of the ways you can save money is you look at your health insurance that you have, whether it's a Medicare supplement, a Part D drug plan, maybe they're on Medicare Advantage, and we evaluate that, and then we say, hey, look, you're talking about being broke. So quite often that's what the conversation is, right, Maria? Is they're broke. And then, well, you know what? Social Security's not going to give you a raise, and if they do, they're probably going to take it out of your Part B premium. So any raise, cost of living adjustment, a COLA as they refer to it, probably went into the raise in their Part B insurance. So they never really got the raise. So what we do is we show them, and New Hampshire has a lot of Medicare supplements, Medigap plans. But we run into people in Berlin that, $384 a month for a supplement?
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how a single senior, let alone a couple that's double that, now add a $90 drug plan maybe.
Right.
And their Part B premium, and now they're super broke.
Right.
So ultimately what happens is if we move the health plan, the insurance company pays us a commission. All the commissions are the same. It's not like, this company pays more. And then we use that money to go ahead and run the business and pay the bills. Yeah.
And all the seniors that come to you, or all the people who come to you, are coming to you for services that are free of charge.
Sure. Yeah. We run a tax business in Berlin. We're not in the tax business because our neighbor is an H&R Block location, and we're like, okay, well, we're not going to compete with you. We'll do taxes all over the place, but not in Berlin-Gorm. We agree to do that. So that's the only service that we charge for.
Yeah.
The rest of what we do, and it quite literally is unlimited. So if Mrs. Jones, customer, walks in and says, I need help with X, our team, we know there's no limit to how long we'll try to help them. Now, there may be a point where we say, we've gone to the mat.
Yeah.
There's not much more we can do.
Yeah.
But it's not like we're going to give you X amount of dollar value in service and then, sorry, it's over.
So Brad, am I right in thinking this is a pretty unique service that's offered in New Hampshire to people?
Would you say it's unique, Maria?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that a lot of people, when they get signed up for insurance with brokers, a lot of times it is over the phone, but even if it's in person with a bigger agency, once they make that sale and that client's in their book, they kind of just forget about it. And I think that we just recognize how important it is to have someone there the whole time you're on your insurance, because if you have a billing issue, if you need a card, if there's something you need, it can be really confusing to call these numbers and have to listen to sometimes broken English, but it's just really stressful to be on the phone for hours sometimes. So we're there the entire time, and we help our clients the whole way through. And there's really not much that we can't do for them and won't do.
Okay, I have a question to ask you, because when we were asked to see if our mics were working, you spoke Spanish. Do you have Spanish customers? Do you speak Spanish well enough to help customers who speak Spanish, or how does that work? Or other French, or what?
I haven't run into anyone that hasn't spoken English.
Okay. No seniors yet.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you have. You've been in it longer than me.
Well, so to answer that, if we have someone that has a language barrier.
Yeah.
The great thing about the insurance companies we deal with, they actually have interpreter services that we can call. So it won't be so much if a senior's looking for housing. I'm going to tell you, we're going to find an answer, and I'll find someone in the community that will speak French, and usually French would be the thing, right?
Right, especially in Berlin.
Yeah, we do have some Spanish folks that have moved in, but it's usually young people.
Right.
Some Indian folks and they're younger people, but they kind of got the English. But we can call up the interpreter services with any one of the carriers, and they will help interpret. Even deaf and hard of hearing as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
so
as you can see, I am, and I have my little microphone right
I am.
I actually did have a client who can speak and listen to English, but she can't read or write in English. So with her, I kind of was just a lot more thorough and just expressed to her, like, if you get something in the mail and you need to call me, I can read it to you. I can help you with these things, because she was just very confused, and I can't imagine getting all your insurance information and not knowing what it says and not understanding it. So
that's right.
I did have her, and I did just let her call me whenever she needed to, and I would just read things for her.
So are your clients mainly women, or
I wouldn't say they're mainly women. A lot of times it's couples, honestly. So
but there is something funny about that. So it generally is couples. The ladies make the choices when it comes to Medicare, though, almost universally. What you'll find is the older man will sit there with his arms crossed going, I don't care. It's whatever she wants. And so he buys the cars, and she deals with the insurance. And occasionally, it's not that. You'll find a guy will get involved, but more often than not, it really is the female client who will make those decisions. And the husband, you'll say, Mr. Jones, do you want to do this? And he'll go, that's up to her, and I just need to hear you say it's her choice, and we're good. He still has to sign the app, but it really is the gals that make the decisions.
Uh-huh.
And in my 14 years, almost universally, that's been the case. And I know you've been doing this 3 years, you've probably seen the same thing.
Yeah, and I have a lot of men who will come in whose wives have maybe passed away, and they just come in with a notebook and they're like, I need help.
Oh, yeah.
She handled everything. What do I do? What is this?
Wow.
And I really feel for those people. And so that's kind of one of my favorite type of clients to have.
We coach them, though.
Yeah.
When you get a widow or a widower, first of all, we hold age in very high regard. You know,
Right.
we're all young people. Maria, you're what, 25 now?
Yes, and Caitlin is very young.
Caitlin's 31, and Michaela, I think, is 29 now. I'm the old guy in the place. But we hold age in very high regard. We take that very seriously. So when someone gets to about 80 years old, we really slow things down.
Yeah,
Because they've probably slowed down.
absolutely.
And we think of it, it's like working with our Grammies and Grampies and like moms and dad. That is how we look at it. We actually talked about doing commercials about that because we look at it like, well, if this was my grandmother,
Yeah.
my grandmother is now 88 years old, what would I want to see for her?
Yeah.
And so when we get a widow or a widower in there, we know something in their life is not being handled. If it's
Right.
an older gal, then she's probably got some issues at home that she can't quite deal with, and I'm able to help with that.
Yeah.
You know, because at home I take care of the home, right? If it's an older man that comes in, probably his wife did just about everything, can't write checks, and we will help them do that. Now, our main purpose isn't to be check writing,
Right.
but we will help sort mail. There's all kinds of things that we do just because we care. We actually, you imagine your grandmother coming to you and you're like, no, I can't help you, no. So we have people that bring in mail. I had a lady come in yesterday and shove an envelope at me and go, you take care of this. and you know, I don't miss a beat.
Yeah.
Well, what is it first? And yes, I'll tell you what, we're going to reach out to you tomorrow. We'll get it solved.
Uh-huh.
You know, so for folks as they get older, knowing there's a professional that we may be an insurance agency, but we do a lot more.
Oh,
And
I
I can't
guess
sit
you
here and
do.
label all of it, but knowing there's a professional who has the capacity and experience across many people, thousands upon thousands,
Yeah.
where we can say, yeah, I can probably help you with that.
Right.
Here's where we need to go with this or that, and we do that all the time.
That's really amazing. So I think my next question, and probably the one that my viewers are interested in, you're located in Berlin,
Right?
but we're in Concord. So if somebody here needed some assistance and they wanted to have it, how does that work? Does that work?
Well, it does. So when we first moved into New Hampshire, we were kind of like, let's just traipse all over the state. And Maria, 7 months pregnant,
With
drove,
twins.
with
Woo!
twins, drove 6 hours a day meeting with clients in their homes. That's hard to do. But when you're getting into business, that's where you start. So what we've ultimately able to do is, if folks want to come to us, great. That's the ideal. It's hard for us to be out of the office. If folks have the capacity to grasp what we're talking about over the phone or a video call, we will help them set that up. We will do a little technical support because we're quite capable of that, but there's some limits. But we're adding folks to our team, independent business owners who are brokers, who we teach to do the things that we do and the way we do it. And in fact, that's part of the reason why we're in town today. We're meeting with folks that we're adding to our team who will be able to service people here.
Good. And these folks are in this area? Or?
Yes, we actually have someone that's 50 minutes from here traveling in our business. That's typical. And they're going to be able to help bring our services to people in southern New Hampshire.
Great.
And we have many more people that we're meeting with. So at some point before too long, there'll be quite a number of folks that are affiliated with Hometown Senior Solutions that are independent. They may represent our brand, or they may be their own insurance, Bob Smith Insurance. But they'll do business the way we do business, and generally, with some limitations, because they're a one-person show, be able to do the things we do. And ultimately, we'll have locations throughout New Hampshire. But that takes time.
Of course it does. But what a wonderful opportunity it would be because I happen to know just from my connection with I go to all of the Age of Champions and the I can't think of what the other one is that they have. They have something in Manchester. They have something in Plymouth, and I think they have something in Keene.
We like
but,
to do those
you know,
events.
there are, you know, where people get together and they talk about all of the various
Right.
services that are available for people. And it's just a wonderful resource. And of course, that's where I met Caitlin, because I had never heard
Right.
of Hometown Senior Solutions. And I thought, I think I really need to hear about this. And once I did, then I knew I had viewers who needed to hear about it also.
I'm glad we connected, because I think the thing that I would say to seniors is, in our industry, everybody wants a piece of you. When you turn 65, that's when you are, to be frank, the most valuable. Because if you put them on a health plan because they need to be, and you're loyal to them and you take care of them, you're gonna get paid every year to take care of them.
Exactly.
That's how it works. And Medicare is, there's 10,000 people a day across America turning 65.
I know.
Probably for the next 15, 16 years. That's a substantial number of people. So you can imagine all these insurance companies, they want a piece of these folks. So you've got mail coming in that's inundating your mailbox when you turn 65, or before that, about 8 months before and on. And then every year, you start getting down around to November, you start getting down into October. Your mailbox is jammed full of stuff. It's jammed with all these ads. And then your phone's ringing off the hook.
Yeah.
And some of those calls are legal calls. Many of them are not legal calls.
Yes, that's true.
Because there's rules. So everybody wants a piece of you. And I'm not saying don't do business with folks who call you or send you mail. Be discerning.
Yeah.
Be cautionary when you're on the phone. We met with a broker today who for 3 years has been doing sales over the phone and wasn't aware that they were aligned with a company who probably has caused a lot of hassle in the industry.
Wow.
Right? And I think that person's going to join our team and do really well, because a little piece of them inside said, this feels funny. And now they're going to be able to do things the way they want to do things working with us. So I would say that if seniors want to do something, find someone local. Like, find us, please. You know, find us or find one of our teammates, get a hold of our office, we can do that. But at minimum, find a local broker that you feel comfortable with. Develop a relationship, because you know where they are.
Yes.
They probably grew up in the same community. And there's brokers everywhere. It's not a bad thing. In fact, the professional broker is something we ought to raise up. They're professionals, most all of them, who have a helping mindset and want to do good things for seniors, right? You know, that's what they're all about.
Right. So a senior that has a question about Medicare, or I guess a question, period, should make an effort to seek some kind of information that they can trust and rely on.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because here's generally what happens. Mom and dad, you know, they get to be in their 70s, usually get up in there. Maybe they're not as sharp as they used to be.
Right.
It's going to happen to me. It's going to happen to everybody. There are things that you were great at when you were younger and you start to see slip. And often they're too proud to go to their adult children and say, you know, sweetheart, I need help with this.
Right.
And so by the time that they get themselves deep in trouble, they got the wrong health plan, they made an investment maybe they shouldn't have made, they're donating money in places where maybe it's a scam, and scams are a big thing with seniors.
Oh, yes.
They're afraid to ask for help, and what we are particularly good at is that there's no judgment when you call us. Ask.
Right.
If we can't help, we're going to get you to someone that can help. I've never had to say no. No, I mean, if it's a realistic request, occasionally we get some that aren't.
Right.
Then, you know, we don't want to say no. We want to guide people right, and they should drop the pride. Make a phone call. Ask somebody for help. Ask your adult children for help. Because there's help to be had.
So I guess my question is your help only with drug plans or Medicare or whatever, or do you get questions from seniors like, maybe those are looking for housing or something
Sure.
like that. What happens there?
We do. So that isn't our core business.
Yeah.
It's health insurance. So we help people of all ages, the Affordable Care Act, Medicare. But if someone comes in and wants help with housing, we're going to help them find an answer. Heating, we're going to help them find an answer. We had a gal come in the other day that had so many problems you couldn't fathom it. And we take one thing at a time, and we help answer some things. I've dealt with scammers. I've got people money
Right,
back.
yeah.
This is what we do. You just have
Well,
to ask.
I am really thrilled that we have such an agency here in our state, because I know, you mentioned parents, but there are people who have no children,
Right.
who also are, questioning, where do we go, what do we do, and that sort of thing. And it's so wonderful to hear that there is a company that is as desirous of helping the elder as AARP is, because that is our purpose, is to educate and inform. And that is the reason that I have asked the two of you to be here today, because I just really think this is a wonderful opportunity for those of you who may have questions that you don't know who to go to whom to go for answers. And here is Brad. Thank you,
Yes,
Brad.
much.
And Maria, who is very willing to help you. So please seek them out. I think there probably is information on a screen that says how they can get in touch with you if they
Correct.
want to. And until the next time, people, thank you for being with us today, and be good, do good, be one.